Howdy guys, wanted to show you something today. How to make a cheap survival candle out of something you can find around the house. These are great to throw in a bug out bag or a survival pack of some kind. And all we're going to do, as you can see, I've been breaking up some wax. Where I get my wax, I mean, you can get run around the house and swipe your wife's candles. She'll get angry if she catches you, so it needs to be a stealth mission if you're, doing it and she doesn't know. But if you go to the dollar store, I got this little pack of tea light unscented candles for like $1. And what I'm doing with these is I'm taking them out of their little metal tin things and busting them and taking the little tiny wick things out of them, because those aren't going to do us a whole lot of good. But fill up a jar full of, and you don't have to make it full. In fact, I'm probably getting real close to having enough in here for one of these survival candles. Now I've seen this a bunch of ways. I've looked at a couple different videos, and one guy had the right idea. Everybody else, they're making them out of tins and all that, and that's great. If you run a, if you've got access to them tins, that's fine. If you don't have access to the tins, that becomes an issue. Now I'm going to pull my camera off here. I've already got my water boiling. You can use a metal container. We go in here into the. Now I'm boiling water, and a canning jar works great for that. Just let some water boil, throw your canning jar in there, and then put your wax in there to melt. But while that's doing that, I'll show you how to make the rest of it. Now I do suggest you make, you can put duct tape or whatever on the bottom of whatever you're going to make, or however you're going to make it. Excuse me. As you do this, as you pour it, more to the point, as you pour the wax in there, you can use anything to solve your mess. You can put duct tape on the bottom. But what I'm going to use is just simply toilet paper roll. Man, if your house is like my house, you go through a bunch of toilet paper. Start saving the rolls. What I've done is I take one roll and I will kind of just give it a little bit of enough of bend that I can put it inside a second roll and kind of double it up. Work it up in there. Once you get it worked in there, get it good and straightened out so you have a good solid double layer outside roll. From there, you're going to take and roll up another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, nice and tight. Into something like that. And you can see I've already got this one going, but I've got 5 in there, and that's probably adequate for what we're doing. But you just set one in there and then roll up another one, set another one in there, another one, another one. After that, you kind of need a wick. So what I do is you can go buy a wick. I just use jute twine, and I will take and I will run my jute twine down in here everywhere I can get it through. I like to have at least 3 or 4 wicks in my candles. So what I'll do is I'll just run one continuous piece through all the holes that I can get going, and then I'll pull them tight on one end and cut my wicks at the other side. Might be worth your time to build you some kind of makeshift needle to do this, but with a little bit of effort you run it up through here. And like I said, I like about 4 good wicks. Doesn't matter where they are in the candle, just gives you a lighting point really. So get these couple more done here. I would caution you when you're running these down through here, don't go, keep inside the little rolls inside the candle. Don't go up against the wall. Not that it's going to make that big of a difference, but I like mine to burn from the center as much as possible. So that's why I go up and down through my little rolls I have inside. You want to be careful if you're not using jute twine or wick. Be careful. 550 cord doesn't burn as much as it melts. And it kind of gives off some toxic fumes. So if you were using this in a situation where, like, if you're inside a tent or a shelter that you've made, you know, because this is for an emergency candle idea, not, you know, this isn't something your wife's going to be interested in having on the dining room table when you're done with it. I mean, I know you're going to take it in there and show her, and look what I made, honey. But she's not. That's not going to be the centerpiece of her next dinner party, I'm pretty sure. So, like I said, get it through there 4 or 5 times. I do 4. I get down one, or down twice and up twice. That gives me my my 4 ends when I pull it out, and I'll cut them. This is proving to be a little more difficult today than what it normally is, obviously, because I'm doing this on a camera. But this thing will burn. Oh God. I have. Alright, once you get them where they're through on the bottom, I just pull them up somewhere relatively about the same size and cut them off. There's no point in really tying them off unless you really want to. If you're having a problem keeping them straight, the jute will burn very effectively, especially once you get it in a candle configuration. Jute twine, I mean, I keep a roll of this in my pack. Man, this thing, if you take it and you pull it apart, this is probably one of the best tinder sources you can possibly carry with you, that has multiple purposes. I mean, you can take it, you can split it all up, and once you get it split up, I mean, it just absolutely burns and burns and burns. You just put a fire to it and it burns really good. It'll take a spark off of flint and steel extremely well. Let me go get my wax. Alright, wax is still melting down real good. So, like I said, if you want to take and put a piece of duct tape or whatever you want on the bottom of this to seal up the bottom, that's fine, but you don't really need to, because once it fills up with wax, it's just perfect the way it is. Why I like using the cardboard like this is it becomes completely disposable, 100%. When it's done, it's done. When it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you have to recover in the field as far as, you know, if you got a tin, then you got to pick that tin up and throw it in your backpack, and your pack starts to stink and smells like burnt wax and all that stuff. Paper towel rolls work just as well. You can obviously get 2 or 3 out of these. Cut them down, even make them shorter if you really wanted to have a shorter one. I'm thinking the last time I burnt and tried to remember how long these lasted, it was in the neighborhood of 5 hours this thing burnt. Plenty long to get any fire you're going to need to build going. Or if you're just in a situation where you need to stop and get warm, you can light it, put it out, however you need to. This is a tin out of Mosin Nagant ammunition that I'm going to use to you know, hold my candle all together. Now I do this a little bit different than a lot of people do. I'll go check my wax again. Wax is almost done. Now I do this a little bit different than a lot of people do. First thing I'll do is I'll turn it over and I'll just hit the bottom of it. That way I know I get a good seal on the bottom of it. I don't want, and the wax is going to flow pretty well. Now when you pull the wax off to bring it here, you don't have a whole lot of time to play with this. I'm telling you right now, be careful. Hot wax burns. If you're trying this and you burn yourself, it's not my fault. It's a self-correcting problem. You typically only do that once, and I will probably do it again today. But it's important to have the bottom thoroughly coated. So after I pour all this down through here to where I get it to where I want it, I'm probably going to flip it over and just hit that top of that deal. Well, I know I'm going to flip it over to hit the top of that and make sure I get a good seal. That way if your pack does get wet, it's really not that big of a deal. If the outside cardboard gets a little bit wet, the wax is going to seal it on the inside. And actually, after this is dried and solid, you could peel the outside cardboard layers off and it would still work fine. You'd lose some of your actual burning fuel source, but it's not that big of a deal. Apologize, I probably should have had the wax ready. We got just about 2 more minutes or so. But seen another guy that just watched his video actually, that he was using a Copenhagen can, cardboard Copenhagen can, which I thought was a great version of this. Another thing you can do, and I have made a few out of these for our big camp kits. This is, if you do any kind of vinyl cutting or vinyl lettering, it's clear tape for the purpose of applying vinyl. Like how I'll even take a piece of this and put underneath the candle just so you can see the other way to do this. But that's one thing you can do while you're getting ready to do this. Put that piece of clear tape under it, get you a good solid, base for your candle. Still going to do it in here because I prefer not to get a bunch of wax all over the man cave. Alright, wax is good and done. If you're wanting to spend a little time doing this, bring the boiling water with you. It will keep your wax good and melted longer. Be careful, don't burn yourselves. Use gloves or something. I'm going to use this rag right here. And I apologize, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to have to do this without moving the camera. Just going to pour the wax down in here. Try and get down through all the holes. Kind of pushing down on our toilet paper roll here to keep it from running out too awful bad, and it's running some. It's actually running a little bit worse than what I thought it really wanted to. Give that a minute to set up. Yeah, I kind of screwed that all up actually. I think I just lost some of my wax. You're going to have to give me a minute. I'm going to have to go burn some more wax and give that a second to set up. Hold on and I'll be right back. Alright guys, got that all ready. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming that tape I put on the bottom had an airspace in it. Normally when I just press down on this and onto the soft cardboard I have in the bottom of this, it makes enough of a seal that it doesn't run out. For whatever reason it did that time. I don't know if that tape I'd stuck on the bottom gave me a problem or what. But back to this, and I have sealed with the wax that ran. I made a seal on the bottom, but you just nice and slowly pour some wax in on top of all this. Try and get all the cracks and crevices that that you can see inside. I don't know if you'd want to try and use like a funnel situation or how you would want to go about doing this and making sure you get it in all the little cubbies. But just fill it up to the top. And it takes a couple of good hours to for that to become thoroughly set up. Once you get it, and it'll sit and it'll bubble and the air will move to the top, and then you give it a second and go ahead and pour some more in on top of it. Guess you could bump it a little, get the air bubbles out. But like I said, this thing will burn a solid 5 hours this way. And I can't remember what I was talking about in the last video when we had our little problem. But other things you can use is if you can find a cardboard, like a Dixie cup, those work good. Do the exact same thing, pack it the same way. Find a cardboard coffee cup in a convenience store, those work. Guy was using the snuff can idea, and I thought that was pretty good. Copenhagen can, dip can, whatever you want to call it. After you get it where you need it, you can try and take the jute and make sure you get wax on what you're going to leave as your wick portion sticking out. I will after I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and cut these wicks back, essentially with just take a pair of scissors and cut them back till they're just sticking out just a very little bit. But that's pretty much it for the concept of the candle. It will, like I said, throw it in your pack. Now I'll take it after, once it's good and dry. I'll usually take them and I'll wrap them in duct tape all the way around the sides and cap the bottom and the top. Helps keep it dry if you're in a wet situation, but more to the point, it keeps this wax from getting all over your stuff. One thing I will do at the end is I'll go through with some of the wax and make sure the outside of the cardboard, if it didn't soak through, is actually wax coated the whole way around before I duct tape it. That way the duct tape is sticking to itself and not the cardboard. Otherwise, when you pull the duct tape off, it typically rips the cardboard. But normally, as it sits here, it will, and dries, it will soak that entire cardboard with wax, or 90% of it anyway. I appreciate you watching. Checking out my videos. If you got good ideas like this, something you think's better than what I'm doing, I'd sure like to hear it. If you like the stuff I'm putting out, go ahead and subscribe, like them. That way other people come to look at them. It sure helps in getting out and about in cyberspace land. But I appreciate you watching, and have a good day.